Greetings, viewers, and thank you for tuning in. Arlo from Gaming with Scissors here, coming at you with a review of Banished. Banished is an indie city builder simulation game by Shining Rock Software. If you're not familiar with the premise, essentially you manage a colony of settlers who have apparently been banished from the previous settlement. I'm not really sure why they were banished. I mean, might eat human flesh or something. Anyway, let's get right to it. Depending on the difficulty that you choose, whenever you start a new game in Banished, that will determine your starting resources. So if you start on hard, you get 4 families, a small amount of clothing, food, firewood, and tools. Medium, you get more families, more clothing, wood, food, firewood, tools, construction materials. You get the gist. So we're just gonna go ahead and hop right in. The first game I ever started, I started on hard. So let's start this one on hard. Salmina. Now let's auto-generate a different town name. And then Blytheviot. New Kirkwood. Okay, that works. And we'll randomize the seed, which is pretty neat. So yeah, I mean, if you like your map, you get to share your seed with your friends, which only your good friends you can share your seed with. Some of them might not want your seed. Remember that, kids. Anyway, small, medium, large. I believe the first game I played was on a small map, which I kind of regret now, and I'll show you all that later. Anyway, let's start with, you know what, let's do large, so we can see exactly how big of a city we can build. Disasters. I don't really know what disasters you can get. I've seen a tornado, but that's all I've seen. So, that being said, let's get right to it. In jump cut. Alright, so this is what we started off with. You know what? Let's pause the game and let me go through your options real quick. You've got, like any good city builder simulation game, you've got a little clock here. You can speed up the time, pause it, even if you wish. And I think it goes from 1 times to 2 times to 5 times to 10 times speed. So it's got a nice option there. Your second one is your tools and your reports. You can show the general statistics about the town. I usually have this up 100% of the time. It really helps you keep an eye on all your resources, your stored medicine, your clothes, your tools, and everything. And your current weather and temperature, even though you can see that here. Well, you can't see that temperature here. But yes, this is in Fahrenheit. For all you folks that don't use Fahrenheit and they rather use Celsius, there is an option in the settings right here. But we're not going to do that because I'm in the States. So, you know, it gives you a map. You can move the map around if you wish. Oh wow, this is a big area. Big area. Got a nice little lake here. That's nice. That's nice. 3 lakes. Too bad we can't rename the town. Call it 3 Lake Town. Nope, can't do it. Actually, you might be able to later on once you build a census, a town center. Let's see. This is where you get your logs of all the events that are happening. The other window that I always have up is this window. This is where you can view all the villagers, members of your town, and assign them jobs appropriately to what you'd like them to do. One thing that kind of sucks and kind of really doesn't matter is you can't specify what villager does what, and if you can, I haven't figured out how. So you can't say, hey, Estefaniel, I would like for you to be a miner. You can't do that, even though she is a miner. So anyway, there's a bunch of different options in here, paths to show you where your people are going, how far they have to travel to and from work. Pretty neat. Let's get that back up here. Then there's your homes and housing, your wooden house, stone house, and your boarding house. Dirt road, stone road, wooden bridge, tunnel. This is your storage, markets, and trade. All these are just buildings for your town. You've got your storage barn, your stockpile, see that in a minute, your market, and your trading post. The trading post is essential, especially for people who start on a on a hard difficulty, because originally, not originally, but whenever you do first start, initially is the word I'm looking for. Initially, whenever you start, don't start off with any kind of seeds. So farming for food is just right out. You're not going to be able to do that. But whenever you trade, if you set up a trading post on a large stream, you'll be able to get traders periodically, and depending on what goods you produce within your village, you can trade to that trader for seeds, and then you can grow crops and get food a whole lot easier. You got your town services, a well, schoolhouse, hospitals, town hall, chapel, and a cemetery. Then you got your food production, your crop fields if you have seeds, orchards if you have seeds, pasture if you have livestock, which we have none of, fishing dock if you have an area to fish, hunting cabin, and gatherer's hut. Those are going to be the ones that you start off with more than likely. Resource production. Got a woodcutter. You can set up a kind of a logger's hut kind of thing, where they can just chop the woods around them, and they'll also replant if you tell them to. So that's kind of nifty. And you got woodcutter cuts your logs into firewood. Your forester lodge is what does the whole logging. Herbalist for medicine, blacksmith for tools, tailor for clothes, tavern for happy, mines and quarries. Destruction, so you can remove your structures, remove resources, harvest trees, harvest stone, collect iron, and remove roads. Also, you can cancel the removal of your town of your building if you wish. And then, of course, your options. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. Let's stop cheating here. And look at that. It's early spring of year 1, and it's still snowing. Alright, so our people need to build a house. Let's see if we can do that. We don't want them being out in the middle of nowhere. They have, let's see, house takes 16 logs and 8 stone. We have none of either. So, let's go ahead and get them to gather some stuff for us. So we go over to the resource production. Nope, I lied. Removal. We will remove resources. And what that does, this tool allows you to tell your villagers a selected area to remove resources from. So, let's go and expand our area that we want to build stuff in. Let's say here. We want them to get all the resources out of this area. So you see the little red marks? That's everything they're going to get. So we've got this little area marked off with these X's. And the villagers should start to gather stuff. Speed up time a little bit. And there they go. Now, they don't really have a place to store that stuff. Once you get your raw resources, you need a place to put it. That's where your stockpile comes in. Your stockpile is used for basically placing your raw materials. It's used for placing your logs, your iron, your stone, your firewood, and any other raw materials that you gather. Your crafting materials go into your storage barn. So, we've got that place down, but, oh look, it's already finished, okay. A lot of times if you place it down and there are objects obstructing the path, you'll need to get somebody to clear the area out, but we didn't have to do that this time. And I just realized we've got all of our resources are in the storage cart. I'm going to, I think I can tell them to unpack the cart. Yeah. You tell them to unpack the cart by destroying it, I guess. So they'll do that, and tell you what, let's go ahead and let's build our house. Okay, so for the houses, this is interesting. So you got your house here. You can rotate it with R, so you don't have to always have a house facing this direction. And the little arrows are showing where the road should be, if you're going to put a road in front of their house. But if you really want to spice up your town, it's nice to know that the F key, unless you rebound it, will give you a different layout of your house. So there are a bunch of different variations to go through. So you don't have a plain Jane, same house, village, like your neighbor. So let's build that, and then we'll build another one. And well, you can't build there because we haven't moved any stuff. Tell you what, let's rotate it and build that one there. So now we've got 3 queued up, and I'll even build a road. And let's speed up time so our little workers can go and do that. So you see they're knocking all these down, and then they're taking all the resources and putting in the stockpile. Yeah, I'm thinking I should have made a larger stockpile, but I think we'll be okay. So they'll just go and go and go, and what you can do is you can specify how many of them you want to be builders. The builders will be dedicated strictly to building things. Right now we've got 4 of the 6 recommended. The less buildings you have building, the less it'll recommend. You can have more than 6. You can overstock your workers if you want. Just some of them might go idle. Now if they're laborers, they'll do anything that is needed. So if you've got 6 workers and you've still got extra laborers, you can leave them there. And if one of your builders dies, one of the laborers will move in and take their place automatically. So that's kind of nice. You see they're working on this now. Let's get some of this stuff out of the way. Oh goodness. Whoops, I did the wrong thing. I removed structures. That's not what I meant to do. Do this. Let's get these houses back. It's raining and our people don't want to get wet. Because they're witches. That's probably why they were banished in the first place. That makes sense. Why am I building houses? They're all witches. So, there we go. We've got a house built. And as you see, each house can hold up to 5 family members. I do believe that if a family is smaller than 5 family members, you can fit more than 1 family in a house. I could be wrong, but I do believe I've seen that happen. But generally, it's usually 2 13-year-olds and a 9-year-old and a 5-year-old. I really think these ages are just kind of, you interpret them as what you wish. I don't really see how a 13-year-old, 2 13-year-olds had a 9-year-old child. Anyway, so now we've got our people some houses building. We've got resources. We need to make sure they have food because now we have none, and they're going to starve. So let's go to food production. And earlier I see, look, we've got these deer here. What we can do is we'll build a hunting cabin. And you see that little circle? That's the area that they'll hunt in if there's any prey there. They can't very well cross that river unless you build a bridge, and we're not really in a place to build a bridge, so we will. Let's build it here. Yeah, that's a good place to build it. And this time, okay, move resources, not the other way around. We'll get them to build that real quick. Now you see we've got somebody who's cold, and this is the oh good lord, oh good lord, oh good god. Everyone died, and that's that wasn't supposed to happen. But okay, so yeah, basically they were going to build a hunting cabin, and then they were going to start hunting deer, and I was going to build a gatherer's hut, and they were going to gather berries, and everyone was going to be happy and not starve to death like everyone else did. Poor Amberly. She's going to, oh, yep, she died. Sad and alone. Tell you what, since everyone in my village, everyone in poor Newkirkwood died immediately, let me just show you. What a successful game looks like. Bear with me. Okay, so this is. Let me stop this. Everyone will go at 1 time speed. This is good old Alan Villo Brute. I chose the name because it was random and I thought it was funny. So this was indeed on a small map. Let's see. Yeah, it was a small map because I said, my first game, I'm going to do it on hard. Let's do it on a small map because I'm probably going to die real early. I didn't die like I did on the game I just showed you. I actually did pretty good. As you can see, I've got a surplus of food. Not a very large surplus, mind you. I'm actually working on that at the moment. But I've got a heavy surplus of tools. Clothes, stone, iron, everything. So I'm doing pretty good. And as you can see, I've lasted for 62 years so far. Started out with just this little area right here. This is my first storage barn and everything. And it has expanded to 4 pastures of livestock. I've got sheep, I got cows, I got chickens. I traded for them at the trader over here. I stocked it with goods that I made from my town and traded for everything. Got my town hall here. Shows you your production, how much current, how much used, how much is produced, over the years. Graphs for your population. Nomads can actually come and join your city if they so choose, and if you so let them. And so yeah, this is what a mildly successful village looks like. I've quarried out a big hole in the ground because I need a whole bunch of stone, and I've even started on a new quarry. So we're going to put another big hole in the ground over here. The interesting thing about this game is you've kind of got to divide your town up into a little sub-community. See this little area over here? You can look at the path that everyone takes to work. Like, the workers here. Here are their homes. Instead of a worker living over here and traveling all the way over here, he just moves in over here to make his commute to work a whole lot faster. But that being said, they've got to, instead of traveling all the way over here to get their mushrooms and wool and steel tools, I built them a storage barn here, and that's where they store a lot of their local stuff. There's a stockpile here. This is where their firewood is stored, but you've got to have a woodcutter nearby, because the woodcutter up here doesn't want to travel all the way down here to put firewood here. So, like I said, you've got to develop little small communities within your larger town to actually make everything work properly. So, yeah, there's a lot of neat things you can do, and that's basically it. So yeah. One thing you got to know though is to make your village grow, you've got to build more houses than people. See, I've got an empty house here. What that does is that tells your village that, hey, I can grow, I can have children. If you don't do that, if you've got houses that are just full of people, well, they're not going to want to have kids. Oh, look, they can hold more than. Is that just a stone house? Let's see. Stone. Okay, so wood house can have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's 8. 8 people. I wonder if a stone house can have more. It looks like it can have maybe 1 or 2 more. I don't know. But yeah, if you don't have enough space, people aren't going to want to have babies, and then they're going to get too old to have babies. And whenever they start dying off and room comes up where you can have more people living there, they're going to be too old to have children, and then your village is just going to die. So you've got to do that. I haven't made it to the point where, they kind of even each other out. Like there's an old home over here and they die, and then people they're living with their parents here move in. I haven't reached that point of equilibrium yet. I don't know if you can, but that's just part of the game. This is an example of what you can accomplish in 13 hours of the game, like I did. So if you like city builders and you're sick of broken traffic, say, in other city builder games that shall remain nameless, I'd recommend giving it a good hard look if you're so inclined. And once again, thanks for watching.